Hi everyone, and welcome to another bodyweight educational video with myself, Aaron. Before we get started, just make sure that you have water on hand. You won't need a mat for this one, and maybe a towel as well. Before you start this educational video, ensure that you've done an appropriate warm-up, and after the session you do an appropriate cool-down. So if you're all ready, I'm going to go through the body weight lunge, another key body weight exercise that a lot of you perform, but let's see if you can perform it correctly. I'll show you some regressions like I do in most of my videos, and also some progressions. So let's start off with the lunge. Let's look at it in its different formats. You can have different stances, you can have different positions with your arms. So to begin with, we're going to look at simply how to do the lunge in terms of where should your weight be when you move forward. So I'm going to do a demo of two different lunges and I'll explain them after. Okay, there's version 1, version 2. Now, hopefully you saw the difference between version 1 and version 2. Version 1 is very much sitting back through the heel. And I'd always recommend getting good at that lunge first before you do version 2. So version 1, as you step, you then drive your weight down through the heel. So you're sitting back. The knee tracks forward very slightly, but it's back and not going over the toes. So you're really sitting back into that lunge, and you'll feel it travel up through your hamstrings, through your glutes, and also through your quads. Now version 2, like I said, you only do version 2 once you can master version 1, and version 2 you're going to add in a slight lean forward. You're going to let the knee track naturally, but you're not going to let it excessively go over the toes, and then you're going to return. Now the reason why there's two different versions is this version will target the quads a lot more. It puts a lot more emphasis on the quads because of that lean forward. If you want more emphasis on the glutes and the hamstrings, you sit upright and sit back. So I'm going to break down the sitting back version, version 1, because a lot of people find it very difficult to lunge, put the brakes on and keep really good form. A lot of the times you see a lot of people lunging, losing balance and throwing all their weight forward and then aggravating their knees. So a good way to start off with learning how to lunge correctly and how to get in good position, using some cushions. So what you're going to do, you're going to set up your cushions, you're going to lunge forward, you're going to sit through the heel, and you're going to let the knee, back leg touch the cushions. Now I'm in a good position. The cushions are taking the majority of my weight. I'm now looking at the angles of my leg. I'm making sure that my knee is roughly 45 degrees, okay? And then from there, I'm sitting through the heel. So once I get there, I can then hold that position and I'm going to push through the heel and then return, okay? So go again, we lunge, we sit down, we set in that position. So I did say 45 degrees, I meant to say 90 degrees, that's where you want to be. And then from there, you can focus on pushing through the heel and back in. So it's a great way to ensure that you're in the right position. You know the weight's going to be taken with the cushions, so you haven't got to put too much braking forces with the front leg. And if you're really struggling with it, you'll find that you'll fall into it unnaturally, but then you can set yourself up correctly, get in the position where you want to be, and then return. So I'd practice doing 10 reps each side, 3 sets of 10, get very, very good at that. And then once you feel that you can control the movement going forward and you can control it, pushing yourself back, then you can focus on getting rid of the cushions and just doing a normal bodyweight lunge. So from here, we now got different variations of a lunge. You can have your arms out for balance, which I recommend to start off with. Again, we're keeping with version 1, sitting back. We're going to alternate as well. Version 2 is going to be hands on your hips, a little bit more challenging now, because you've got to have a lot more balance and a lot more control on the way down. And then version 3, the hardest version out of the 3, arms above your head. And again, keeping that balance, sitting back through that heel, chest up, and hopefully shifting all that weight through that heel to utilise your glutes and hamstrings. So there's the different variations that you can do. Always master the ones with the cushions first, then move to the arms out, the arms on the hips, the arms above. If your balance is really, really bad still and you can't get on with it, another good way to learn the lunge is use something that's supporting, i.e. a sofa. So as you lunge, you can hold on and then return. So that's another way for you to get good at the bodyweight lunge once you've taken the cushions away. So if you're still finding your balance is really off, use something very stable that's going to allow you to help put the brakes on here, get in a good position, and help you on the way up. Okay, and then you can move to the 3 variations that I showed you. Now, if you find the lunges okay and you're getting really good at them, another good variation of a lunge is a reverse lunge. Now, I'd say it's a bit of a progression because you need more balance. However, it's a great way not to aggravate your knees. So if you're someone who finds that when you lunge, you always automatically go into version 2 because you can't help it, it just naturally happens, a reverse lunge will be good for you. So with a reverse lunge, clues in the title, you step back, and you'll notice after a couple of reps, the knee is obviously going to be tracking back slightly. You're not going to be pushing forward because you're moving backwards. So you're going to be keeping that nice 90-degree angle, which we want. But the other good thing about a reverse lunge, it allows you, it makes you sit through your heel because you're stepping back. So you actually will feel it going through the glutes and hamstrings a lot more than potentially the forward lunge. So although I call it a regression, it's a different alternative, but you will need a little bit more balance for it because when you're stepping back, it's just a little bit more difficult. Again, if you're finding the balance the main issue, use something to support, i.e. sofa, and then you can focus on sitting back and going again. So you'll find sometimes a movement might aggravate a certain joint, a lunge might aggravate your knees. So looking at a reverse lunge, it might take less pressure off your knees, which is great, and focus on the key muscle groups. So once you've mastered all of those, you've got the bodyweight lunge, the different variations, you've got the reverse lunge. Another good exercise to do is a split squat or a static lunge, if you want to call it that. So with this movement here, the best setup to go through is you have both feet together. You've got 1, 2 in front, and then 1, 2 behind. Again, it's a rough guide. And once you've got that position correct, you set yourself up. You're going to go down into that lunge position, sit back, and then come back up. So you're not going to return back to the beginning. This will put more stress on the front leg. Get nice control. If you're finding it really, really hard to gauge how low you need to go, you can use a cushion as a guide, as a marker for the back leg. I can give you a marker. It makes it a little bit easier, but it just lets you know where to go. If you're okay with the movement, you can obviously get rid of it and then go close, as close to the ground as you can without your knee touching though. It should be just hovering just above the ground. So like all the lunges that I prescribed in the first instance, you're looking at 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 12 each side. And that's for all the different variations that I showed at the start and also for the split squat that I've just showed you now. So there's just a couple that you can do. The split squat I like because it puts more stress on the leg, the front leg especially, and you don't get so much time to relax. So give those lunges a go. Let me know how you find them. If you need any more tips or any more help, just leave some comments below this video. I'll be happy to help.